I wanted to start with the quarterback carousel, though. The latest, Derek Carr, maybe on the trading block, maybe on the market, maybe not on the market. But what are your feelings? I think we're both in agreement that the starting price of 2 first-round picks is absolutely insane. But just in terms of him as a player, where are you on Derek Carr?
Yeah, I think that I'll just start first with the overarching. I think you're going to see a lot of teams put borderline quarterbacks on the market right now. I think you'll see it with Jimmy Garoppolo. I think you might see it with Kirk Cousins. Those sorts of situations, just because teams saw the return for Matthew Stafford and they're thinking, well, I want some of that, right? It's like what's going on with
Right.
the stock market. It gets hot, so everybody wants in on it. I don't know how, like, not every quarterback that gets put on the trade block in the next month is going to be traded. And I think Carr is the first of a handful. So I'm not going to like overhype that. As for Carr as a player, I mean, he's a nice piece. You know, for, I'm not overly excited. You're right. The 2 first-round picks is too much. Where I look at this in relation to the Patriots, and we talked about this on Tuesday, is for them to get a guy like a Jimmy Garoppolo, there has to be a trickle down effect, right? So
Right.
maybe San Francisco likes Carr, and then they get Carr, and then Jimmy Garoppolo becomes available, something like that. But I'm not, going to do jumping jacks and say the offseason is saved because the Raiders are thinking about trading Carr.
Right. And I think the biggest thing with these asking prices is that it's nice to ask for 2 first-round picks. You're not going to actually get 2 first-round picks for Derek Carr. And I think
Right.
also,
I have an old PlayStation. I can ask you for $500 for it. Doesn't mean it's going to happen
right. And the other
unless you want to. I mean, the offer stands, but
No, no, I'm all
okay.
good. But then the other thing is that you have the trickle down effect that you mentioned of the Raiders are not out there actively seeking a trade for Derek Carr unless they can upgrade at the quarterback position themselves. So maybe they feel, and I think the report that was out there was that they were going to try to take whatever they get from Derek Carr and package their own picks together to make a move for Deshaun Watson. But if they don't feel like that other shoe is going to drop, then you don't just trade Derek Carr
Right.
with nothing left, to leave yourself empty-handed. I know they have.
Well, but actually, it's interesting you said that because you're a big Marcus Mariota
I
guy,
am a big
and
Marcus
he
Mariota
obviously
guy.
had his moments. You don't think they'd trade Derek Carr for, if you can get 2 firsts for Derek Carr, if you think Mariota is only a marginal decrease, and those 2 first-round picks will help you more than that gap between Carr and Mariota, like you don't think they might look to just do that? I wouldn't. But you being as high on Mariota as you are, I'm a little interested that you're not going to kind of flirt with that possibility as well.
I would if a team comes in and offers the Raiders a Godfather offer for Derek Carr and they do offer multiple firsts or multiple high picks, then maybe you could talk yourself into Mariota replacing Carr. And like you said, it's not that big of a drop off from one to the other, and you can have that conversation. But I think with Mariota in Carr, to me, it looks a lot like what Mariota dealt with Ryan Tannehill in Tennessee a few years ago, where Mariota, because of his pedigree, because of his history with the club, was the starter to start the season. It didn't go well. They make the switch to Ryan Tannehill, and then the following offseason is when they decide to move on from Marcus Mariota. So I actually feel like the Raiders and the Patriots, as a domino effect, are maybe 1 year too early on this Derek Carr conversation. Maybe we're having this
Sure.
conversation next offseason when Marcus Mariota unseats Derek Carr as the starter in
If not when.
if okay, fair enough. If Marcus Mariota unseats Derek Carr. But the one thing I wanted to mention about Derek Carr is I personally feel like Derek Carr has a chance to be a team's Alex Smith. And what I mean by that is he can come in and he can be a serviceable placeholder, somebody that you can win 10, 11 games with. You surround him with the right guys and then develop guys around him. And then, like the Chiefs did with Alex Smith, when you can get that Patrick Mahomes level quarterback, that's when you move on. And I feel like Derek Carr could be that for the Pats. He's not the long-term answer. He's not a Super Bowl bound quarterback. You're not automatically a Super Bowl favorite by trading for Derek Carr, but you're a lot better off than you are now. And you can bring Derek Carr in, and then you don't feel as desperate to make that big splash move, whether it's in the draft or in a trade or free agency at that quarterback position, because you do have somebody that is at least starting caliber. This was
Right.
the guy that was a top 15 quarterback in the league last year. He's no slouch, and he's not Jimmy Garoppolo, who's always hurt either. He's a pretty consistent guy that's out there every single week. I think he's only missed 2 regular season starts. I know he missed that playoff start in the 1 year they did make the postseason, but he's only missed 2 regular season starts since he became the Raiders starting quarterback. So he is, to me, a more durable Jimmy Garoppolo that's on a similar sort of path in terms of what they bring to the table as quarterbacks. And he could be here for an extended period of time until the Patriots want to make that big move, whether it's a move up in the draft or sign a free agent quarterback or trade for a big money quarterback. And I would take Derek Carr over a lot of other options in the field that we're going to be faced with and that we're going to throw out there, like Derek Carr versus Cam. I'm taking Derek Carr. Derek Carr versus Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm taking Derek Carr. Derek Carr over Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm taking Derek Carr all day, every day. So that's where I feel a little bit with Derek Carr where we're at. And it's going to be interesting, though, because the dominoes need to fall.